All right, students, this video is going to give you the true story of the first successful English settlement called Jamestown. It's pretty lucky that the people who settled here are called successful because they had a really rough start. So Jamestown was established in the year 1607. It's the very first group of English colonists to come here to North America to try and set up a colony. And the main goal of these colonists was to find gold and make an economic profit. So when the colonists first arrived in the late summer of 1607, they started right away by building themselves a fort. They knew they needed to protect themselves from the Native Americans. They only had 3 cannons on board their ship, so they built their fort in this triangle shape to defend themselves from the natives. And then after that, the colonists got busy digging for gold. The colonists neglected to plant crops or try and make, peace with the nearby Native Americans. They were mostly interested in finding gold, making a quick economic profit. That led to some troubles with the Native Americans nearby. There was conflicts in those first few months. The natives didn't know who these people were and didn't like that they were just claiming land. Now, that burning of the supplies and the fact that the colonists neglected to plant crops led to the first winter of Jamestown being nicknamed the starving time. Of the original 120 people on board that first ship in the fall of 1607, only 50 will be alive at the end of the next winter. All right, and so the worst part of this starving time is that archaeologists have recently discovered evidence of cannibalism. So they went through and dug around Jamestown a few years ago and found some skulls and bones from colonists that had lived there in 1607. This is one of those skulls, and you can see there, right there on the forehead, there's evidence of saw marks, which is evidence of cannibalism. The archaeologists recreated what they think these bones would have looked like when they were a real person, and turns out this particular skull belonged to a young girl. She was probably about 14 or 15 years old. We don't know if she died of natural causes like starvation or if she was purposely killed in order to be cannibalized. Sad story. But after that first winter, the colonists realized they needed to make peace with the nearby Native Americans if they were going to survive. That peace came through an alliance through marriage. So one of the colonists named John Smith was married to the Native American princess named Pocahontas, who was actually a real person. This was not a marriage of love, though. I mean, the cartoon gets it wrong. This was a forced marriage. Pocahontas was forced to marry John Smith. But, she did what she could to help her husband and her new family. She showed them how to grow tobacco, which was a highly prized cash crop back in England. So once the colonists started growing tobacco and making peace with the Native Americans, the colony grew and became more successful. And in fact, the population grew, more ships of colonists will come over the next few years. And it really is tobacco and that cash crop that is the reason why Jamestown became a successful colony in the end.